Yeah, Tim?
You talked to Mark lately?
I haven't really talked to him, but he looks pretty down.
He looks pretty down.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we should cheer him up then.
What do you suppose we should do?
Well, does he like butter tarts?
I was lying on the grassy Sunday morning of last week, indulging in my self-defeat. My mind was thugged, all laced and bugged, all twisted, wrong and beat. A comfortable 3 feet deep. Now the fuzzy stare from not being there as Tuesday morning week impaired my tribal lunar speak. And of course you can't become if you only say what you would have done. So I missed a million miles of fun. I know it's up for me if you steal my sunshine, making sure I'm not in too deep. If you steal my sunshine, keep me bursting on my feet. If you steal my sunshine.
Chat, come here.
Wow, look at her.
I know.
Wow, I've never seen Sharon look so bad before.
I did once before, but this is pretty bad.
Yeah. What do you think she got up to last night? Sharon! I love you!
rock, rock, hippity bippity 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 hippity bippity.
That was it.
That was amazing.
Yay!
Jersey Dave on the tambourine. Well, hello, Griffin Newman, Julia and Nathan. Thank you so much for playing. Okay, hold on. This song is called. I did not know this song previously. It was "Steal My Sunshine" by Len. Yeah. Okay. So this was a huge hit. That somehow I was under a rock.
This is like a big one-hit wonder.
Huge deal. Yeah. So it's done by a brother and sister duo.
Which is strange because some of the lyrics are weirdly sexual.
Yeah. Most of the lyrics, I would say.
For a brother and sister
Almost
duo,
all.
a little strange,
it's a
but
little weird.
you know.
Jersey Dave, our camera guy, also illuminated upon us that the music video, Mark Costanzo, the guy who wrote the song, filmed the music video. It cost $100,000. I spent almost all the money on alcohol, and
like $99,000.
Yeah. And they almost broke their elevator, bringing all the beer up to their apartment.
Amazing.
Probably one of the best music videos of all time.
Yeah, definitely.
So, Julia, you are a huge fan of the show, one of our most consistent and most fun audience members. And I think the first episode where I remember you like kind of stepping forward was the musical improv one where you were singing.
That was
right?
the first episode I went to.
That
I was like, oh, this is how this is going? Cool, great.
The first thing we want to address before we even get into anything else is AC Newman was supposed to be our musical guest. Fortunately, Hurricane Irene fucked that one up. He had to reschedule. Since we don't have our musical guest, this show is going to end with every random musician in New York we can find showing up and playing. And we don't care if you're insane. That's our whole thing. Come on out and play some music, and we'll see how it goes. 0 musicians have showed up. So, Phil, this means that you will right now be leading a band that consists of you on a saxophone, a keyboard, a couple triangle players, a kazoo.
Is anybody beatbox?
Anybody beatbox? Okay, we got a singer. Ladies and gentlemen, Phil Augusta Jackson presents the Public Access Players.
The first one that I went to was Ruin This Show. That was the first one I went to live. I started watching it on the archives and I was late. You know, I started late because I had bad internet at the apartment I was living at the time and no cable, so I couldn't watch the show, and then I didn't get up to date until that, which was I think January of that year of 2010, 2011. And I've watched every episode since then.
And you're a professional comedian, and did you know the show from just knowing Chris, or how did you
I grew up in New York City and was just a big comedy nerd. And my friends and I often, instead of going to parties and getting rejected by girls, would go to the UCB on the weekends. Yeah. And Chris was like one of our big guys. That was like the guy who... It's weird to think about. I mean, at the time I was seeing him, he was younger than I am now. Yeah. But we turned to each other and be like, that's the guy we want to be. And so we just kept, my friend Alejandro and I, really following his career through all the permutations into then when he started doing the Chris Gethard show on stage at UCB and going to that a lot. Mm-hmm. And then when it moved to MNN, I was really excited about it, but couldn't watch it for a number of months between internet and cable issues. So then when I finally got into it, I binged and then started coming every week.
So, speaking of coming to the show and bringing people to the show, I once heard you say that you can use the show as kind of like a judge of whether, someone you're dating, whether it's actually going to work out or not.
The conversation you're referring to, I talked kind of hyperbolically. I mean, I made the statements more extreme than they needed to be.
Of course.
It is possible for me to love someone who doesn't love the show. But
I'm glad to hear it.
It's a little difficult. The fear is not, we can't date each other if we don't like the same thing. It's that this show feels so personal to me. Yeah. In that, I mean, I've invested so much time and energy into it over the years, but also just, I care about what happens on the show, and I care about what the show stands for. This show, it's going to sound really intense, this show kind of reflects how I want the world to be, you know? Yeah. It's a reflection of an outlook that I think is important in the world. So it's not just, you think it's funny that the human fish, it's if you get it, you know, then I feel like we might be able to get each other on that kind of way. And I don't understand how someone could want to date me and hate that show. Right. It would feel like they hated some part of me that they just hadn't figured out existed yet. You know?
You're talking about this, that the show represents something about like how you think the world should be. Like, is there like a specific episode that you feel like maybe? That's a big question.
Yeah. No, I can't say, I mean, because I spend, I'd say 75% of my time overall just trying to talk people into watching the show. Because anyone I meet or come into contact with, I'm just trying to get them into the show. When I try to explain to people why I think the show is so incredible, what I think it's capable of, that no other show can do or has done before, the moment I throw out, and I'm going to mangle it a little bit, but I think it was in the Who Can Make Shannon Cry episode. Yeah. And a girl called up and talked about her eating disorder, and said, and called in anonymously, said, I've never talked about this with anyone before. A lot of people were just trying to throw sad things at Shannon, sort of shock value, and here was a girl saying, I really feel like I can trust you from watching the show, from the way you talk and interact with people. I need to talk to someone about this, and you guys the panel of the Chris Gethard show are the people I want to talk to. And the show slowed down. It didn't grind to a halt.
Yeah.
The show organically changed to this conversation and became talking to her and relating to her and giving her advice and, you know, comparing their problems to her and all of that. And it was a very, very emotional moment. And, you know, Shan said, does that help? I mean, is that sort of what you wanted? And she went, yeah, thanks. He went, okay, great, thanks for the call. And she went, one more thing. Can I ask the human fish a question? And the fact that, for me, that was the whole show in like a microcosm. That you could have a real human being who lives somewhere in the world that we don't know, calling in anonymously, using the show as really like a therapy session for herself.
Talking about like real problems.
Right.
Yeah.
The cast members of the show are able to make it into engaging television without exploiting it, you know?
Yeah.
But make it a real interesting, I mean, just real moment. And then the show can oscillate right back to, oh, right, we have a dude in swim trunks who's going to answer any hypothetical battle you pose at him. I just think it's one of a kind. It's like a dead end in terms of TV.
Totally.
Yeah.
That 180.
Yeah.
And that people that love the show are comfortable equally with both those things.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. You know, I don't think anyone would, not that you ever could, but would feel comfortable calling in the cast of Friends and talking about, you know, their depression issues or whatever.
Yeah. Okay, so you came in and actually hosted a half hour of the show yourself. That'll be Neigh Hive.
Yeah,
Am I
you got
saying
the
that
title
right?
right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how much rehearsal did you guys put into that? I mean, I think we were all shocked. We didn't know what a sort of a complete half hour of television it was going to be.
I myself was shocked. It was fully written. We had no rehearsal time.
No.
Yeah.
And so Noah and Drew wrote it. How much did you do? How much writing did you do?
None. They said if you want to add stuff here and there,
Yeah.
but they sent me a script. You know, Chris called me and said, would you be on the show this week? First half's going to be this boxing. Second half is something with horse and bee. They're not really telling me.
Yeah.
They're keeping it a secret. So then Noah and Drew emailed me and said, here's the script. They sent me a 30-page script. The whole thing was written out. They had written in the monologue with details about me and stuff like that. They'd done their research. Chris had never seen the script before we started filming. I mean, he was cold reading it off the cue cards. So we had cue cards there. Yeah. But it was, you know, I'm such a big Saturday Night Live nerd. It's an obsessive fact, but I've seen every new episode since 1998.
No.
Which is when I started watching the show. I'm just like a weird.
Well, you can tell because
kid.
You got the tone, whatever that is that makes when you turn on Saturday Night Live and you're kind of sucked into that world, like whatever that tone is. I felt like you reproduced it exactly.
Thank you. Yeah, really, I mean, that's the one thing I kind of have on a cellular level is I've watched so many hours of that that the second
it's like a Malcolm Gladwell thing.
Yeah, and they said exactly. I've spent more than 10,000 hours watching SNL, and they sent me the script, and I was like, this is great. There are two things we're missing. Yeah. One is the good nights, and one is the promos. Hi, I'm Griffin Newman. I'm hosting Saddle B. Yeah. And when I got to the studio, they were like, we're adding two more things, and they had done it before I had said it.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody, I'm Griffin Newman. I'm hosting Saddle B Neigh Hive tonight with musical guest The Unlovables.
It's the buzz around the neighborhood.
Hey, I'm Griffin Newman. I'm hosting Saddle B Neigh Hive tonight with musical guest The Unlovables. Horace, you excited for tonight's show?
Oh, I'm so excited. I can barely cult it together.
But those I got to improvise. I mean, the good nights were just like so much fun to do. I did kind of get emotional going through a fake SNL, you know? Getting to do those iconic things in a fake, silly way with a whole human being. It was amazing.
Everyone loved it. Everyone loved having you on the show. I hope that you plan to come back and do lots more.
Anytime. It's always an honor, yeah.
All right. Griffin, thank you so much.
Yeah.